Hey there, welcome back to another video. So we're going to continue on with the journal flip through. This is my October 2025 journal. I make it out of a white mailing envelope folded in half. Very simple, one signature, 16 pages folded in half. So there you have it. This is my own hand lettering. If you would like your own version of this, I have free printables down below in the description box, so make sure you check that out. Yeah, so let's get started. I bind it with embroidery floss, 3-hole pamphlet stitch, put an eyelet here, tie on some dyed seam binding. This background here is acrylic paint rolled on with a brayer. Super fun. Okay, so we are starting on our trip to Savannah. So my daughter and I took a trip to Savannah, Georgia. Yeah, we had been looking forward to it for a while. She had actually told me about it back in May around Mother's Day. That was her gift to me, is that she wanted to go on a trip, a girls' trip. And when it was time for us to make plans for it, she came down with the Rona. You know what I mean? So we weren't able to go. So we planned it for this time, and it ended up being just the perfect time to go. The weather was beautiful. Everyone was feeling okay. So let's get started. So we started out at 7 a.m. in the morning on Friday the 17th, and my husband actually drove me up to her house so that we could leave from her house, saving her, of course, an hour round trip, right? Because we live a half an hour south. So we hit the road, and our very first stop, let me just back up too by saying my daughter is a planner, okay? She likes to know what she's doing, when she's doing it, how she's doing it, why she's doing it, where she's doing it, all of it, okay? So she had this trip like planned, right? Everything that we did was planned, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. I love that she has such an attention to detail and wants to share so many experiences together and all of that. It was just so beautiful. I love her so much. So, okay, so our very first stop, of course, was Buc-ee's. Now, if you don't know what Buc-ee's is, it's a huge gas station, okay? And I know it sounds really silly. However, inside this gas station, it has anything and everything you could possibly imagine. It has food, it has automotive stuff, it has baby clothes, it has blankets, it has home decor, it has snacks, it has, anything you need, they've got it, you know? And then one of the things why a lot of people choose to go to Buc-ee's for two reasons, aside from the big store, but is that they've got hundreds of gas pumps. So we've never waited in line at a gas pump there. So hundreds of gas pumps, and then they have facilities there that are clean and they're very efficient, right? Very efficient. And so, yeah, it's a great place to go. So we went and got some breakfast there. We had to take our picture in front of the brass Buc-ee. And then here is a picture of leaving, or when we got to Buc-ee's, then going over the bridge into Georgia and then welcoming to Georgia. And then our first stop, we had looked online for a couple things to do in Savannah. Of course, my daughter had planned everything out and stuff, but she said, Ma, if there's anything you want, let me know. And I said, oh, there's this place called Starling Yard. I've watched a couple videos. It looks super fun. It looks like, an artsy fartsy kind of place where it's like enclosed, right? So it's outdoor, but there's an entrance and an exit, right? And so when you go in, because there are alcoholic beverages, you have to get one of these wristbands. And then with the wristband, you can go and you can purchase things all over the place, whether it's food, drink, whatever they have to offer. It all comes back to, your card or whatever it is. So it's very efficient that way. I like that part. The only thing is that when we get there, there's nothing there. Like, they had a pizza restaurant, that's permanent. They had an open, bar, and they had one food truck with Spanish food, really great fried yuca, I have to say. And that's it. There were no artsy fartsies. There were no hippies. There were I mean, nothing, like nothing set up. No, I just thought it was going to be so different. So I'm not really sure if it's like just an event place. Like maybe I didn't read enough into it. I don't know. Maybe they only do things on like certain days of the week, or maybe it's more of a nighttime thing. I'm not really sure, but well, it was our first stop after Buc-ee's, and we were in Savannah by this time. And so we just grabbed a drink, sat down, rested for a bit. We did walk around a little bit. We did not go down the main street of the Starlin Yard or the Starlin area, which would have been, I'm sure, more artsy fartsy, but we were itching to get to the hotel. So there's that. And then this was spray painted on the wall. So I just took a picture and sent it to my husband. And then, yeah, we had an uneventful trip. We had a couple traffic jams. See, generally speaking, Savannah's only about a handful of hours from us, but it took us about 2 hours longer to get there. So yeah, it was a long ride, but my daughter did great. And I told her on the way up here, I said, you do realize you're the adult in this whole situation, right? She was like, yeah, Mom. And then we did a crossword, a Gilmore's Girl crossword puzzle while we were in the car. That was fun. Yeah, so that's just talks about all that. And then that slides right in there. And then this was where we stayed, Plant Riverside District. The hotel goes all the way along the river, the river walk. It has like 4 different sections of it. We were over here by the generator hall, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Here's a picture of the river walk. Yeah, here's our little key thing. There's me inside, and inside the hotel in the lobby, they had like a bunch of crystals. They had a huge Swarovski crystal thing. And then they also had a bunch of ginormous geodes that are cracked in half, and you can see all of the amethyst and, just beautiful, beautiful gemstones, just gorgeous. So then when we got to the hotel, we decided to go take a gander and walk down the Riverwalk, and found this local artist here. She draws these beautiful, stickers and beautiful artwork, and she was so sweet. And so my daughter got me this postcard that she had drawn, just beautiful. I think my daughter was trying to figure out what we could kind of do together to commemorate the trip. It did not come to fruition, but we did discuss tattoos, and we did discuss permanent jewelry. And one of the permanent jewelry things was right along the Riverwalk. And so when we were talking about it and hemming and hawing, but the thing is that with, my health and everything, I'll have scans for the rest of my life. So I can't wear, metal, so I wouldn't have been able to get a permanent bracelet. I might have been able to get a permanent anklet because I never take my anklet off or my toe ring. So yeah, I might have been able to do that. But anyway, so that's what we were talking about along the Riverwalk, and happened to pass by here. There's a picture of my daughter and me. I love spending precious time with her. And then here we are again. This was up on the rooftop because that evening, after we walked on the Riverwalk, we went back to, I think, our room for a bit. And then she wanted to see the sunset from the rooftop. So we decided to go up there. There's me on the rooftop. And there are smokestacks on top. On top of the hotel because it used to be an electrical plant. And so, yeah, it's a really cool place. So here's, up on the rooftop, the sunset and everything. And then we hadn't had dinner, so we went ahead and ordered drinks and dinner up there, and it was really delicious. We were both pleasantly surprised. I mean, we thought, it's going to be like bar food or whatever, which I'm totally not a fan of. But this was so good. It was like mushroom flatbread with just beautiful sauce on it. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And then loaded French fries. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was really, really good. And then we were just like up there people watching and stuff because there was a bridal party there. They were all dressed as witches. And then on the other side of us, there was a bachelor party. Yeah, apparently a lot of people go to Savannah for these types of things, you know, their bachelorette or bachelor, whatever, parties and wedding parties and all that. So yeah, we did have such a fun day and we were tuckered out, let me tell you what. So then the next morning, an alarm goes off at 7 a.m. and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, did I not turn my alarm off? Like, what's happening? And I'm picking up my phone and it's not my phone. And I finally figure out my sweet girl, she had set the alarm for 7 o'clock in the morning so that we could be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to hit the town, right? So that is what we did. And here's a little paper clip here, so cute. We did a ton of walking, a ton. I mean, by the time we finished the trip and came home on Monday, I didn't have ankles left. I mean, that is how swollen my feet were from walking for 4 days. But totally worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. So this was on Saturday, and it was a beautiful day. In the morning, it was like in the 50s. It was just stunning. And Savannah is a beautiful, beautiful city. It really, really is. I've been there a few times and every time it's just gorgeous. You know, they have these beautiful squares. I'll show you here in the map, but they're beautifully landscaped and beautifully kept up. And I felt safe, like no matter where we went. And of course, you know, we're walking everywhere. Like you don't drive there, you walk everywhere. And so, you know, we're walking everywhere. It felt totally safe everywhere we went, whether it was at night or in the morning, you know, whatever. It was just beautiful, just a beautiful time. So my daughter and I, we started at our hotel. Let me just open some of these flaps and stuff. So we started at our hotel. I'll see, which is way up here, okay, right here. And we walked, and we walked, and we walked, and we walked all the way down to here, okay? Yeah, we didn't know it was going to be that far. No, we did not. But we did it, and I'm super glad we did. It was like some 20 blocks, right? Well, and as most of you know, once you go 20 blocks somewhere, you need to go back 20 blocks to get back where you came from. So yeah, it was a lot. But again, I would not change it for the world. So she wanted to take me to this place called Cafe Collins Quarter, and it was delicious. It really, really was. It was right in Forsyth Park, which is the famous park in Savannah. It has the big fountain and all of that. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous park. And yeah, so we walked all the way down there. The seating was outside. We were there early enough so that we didn't have to wait at all, which was great because by the time we left, I'm pretty sure there was a wait list. I had some delicious avocado toast, so good. We both had matcha tea. And she had this like egg and tomato and mushroom and goat's cheese and bacon. Oh my gosh, it was good. It was good. And then afterwards, my daughter started not to feel good. And so it was fine. We sat at the park and we just people watched for a while. You know, we took our time. She rested and I rested and all of that. And then we started on our way. And so then here's the one thing that I am not a fan of with Savannah. There are very few public restrooms, and if you go into, obviously a restaurant or a store, they will not allow you to use their restroom, not unless you purchase something. So I was telling my daughter, I'm like, honey, my eyes are turning yellow. Like, we need to find the facilities. She's like, okay. And I was about to burst, and we found this place called Trailer Park Restaurant. Super cute little, like a sports bar kind of thing. And so I said, let's just go in here. I will buy an iced tea. I'll buy something, you know, and just so we can use the facilities. So we did that. And then we actually used the facilities twice. I mean, we were only sitting there for like a half an hour, but anyway, so then the gal came up and she said, oh, what can I get you to eat? And we said, oh no, you know, we just wanted the drinks. And I said, is there a way that we can get this to go? And she said, oh yeah, sure. So, and I said, oh, and the check as well, please. And she said, oh, no, it's fine. And I said, I'm sorry. She's like, no, it's fine. No worries, you know. So she gave us our drinks for free. We were able to use the facilities. Very, very sweet. Very sweet indeed. So that was a nice morning out. And like I said, the weather was stunning. This is Forsyth Park with the fountain in the back. She took me to this Paris market. It's just a beautifully decorated store of home goods, spices, candles, all that fun stuff, you know, fun feminine stuff. And so, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then this whole thing opens up. And as we were meandering our way back, you know, back toward the hotel, just gorgeous pictures of these beautiful southern row houses. And it's just stunning. Their patios all decked out for Halloween. It was just so stunning. And then this here is actually a gas station. What is it with us in gas stations, right? This is a gas station. I forget what it's called. I forget what it's called, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And they had facilities. So that was nice. I'm pretty sure we must have bought something in there. But yeah, so we used the facilities there, shopped around a little bit. Yeah, it was nice. It was clean. It was perfect. This goes at the end of our day. Okay. This is at the end of the day. Okay, so this is what we did next. So the next thing we did was we went to the Prohibition Museum. Really interesting, you know. I always like learning about history. And this was the inside. They had, at the end of the tour, they had a speakeasy. So that was super, super cool. And so we both ordered a drink. She got a Jack Rose and I got a Mary Pickford. Yeah, it was yummy. It was cool. And we were able to sit for a little bit. Because again, with the whole walking thing. And then this in here. So after we left here, this is part of the gardens. I love, this is like one of my favorite plants. It's called the tractor seat. Yeah, I love it. And then after we left here, we went to like, they have this one street. I don't know where it's at, but in Savannah, obviously. But they have this one street that's like closed off, you know, to traffic. So we walked around there a little bit, and then we went to a Georgia tasting room, which is wine tasting. So I think it's like for $3, you can get like 6 tastes of wine, right? My daughter and I don't really care for wine, but we're like, hey, for $3, why not, you know? So there we are sitting outside the place, and then here's our little wine tasting thing. So yeah, we just continued to meander around and got 6 little, you know, little tiny sips of wine for $3. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then let's see what else. Then I think we went back to, we finally made it back to our hotel, I do believe. And then that evening we went to a place on the riverfront called Huey's for dinner. And it was a really cute little, like, kind of like a Louisiana southern waterfront place. And we just ordered a bunch of little things, right? So we had, let's see, we ordered fried green tomatoes, barbecue shrimp, fried okra. She had grits and I had pinto beans. There might have been something else that I can't remember. And it was absolutely delicious. It was so, so good. And then we went back to the hotel to await the evening's adventures. Yes, the night was not over. Okay, so after dinner, we were going to go back out again a little bit later, and we were going to go on a haunted pub crawl tour. It was my first one. My daughter's been on them before, but she really wanted me to have the experience, and but something was amiss. Yeah, so let's find out what happened. Okay, so all this gets flipped up. I love how this came out. Love it. So, well, my best girl turned into a pumpkin. Yes. We had had such a long day. And she she was not feeling all that great since like the beginning of the day, right? So we were just trying to take it slowly a bit. And so we went to this bar where the pub crawl started, and I ordered a drink for us to share as we're walking through town. And we started on the tour. She was looking a little green then, but we started on the tour. We got to the second stop and she was just kind of like leaning against this railing, you know, and I said, "Babe, we got to go, honey. I'm sorry." And she had already booked it. She'd paid for it, everything. She was so disappointed. She really wanted me to do this with her. We were super excited about it. But yeah, it just wasn't going to happen. And I said, "Honey, I would hate to be in the middle of this thing and like have to call a cab or worse off an ambulance, you know? No, let's just go back to the room." So yeah, so I just politely excused ourselves and we went back to the hotel and we just, watched a cheesy movie, I think, or maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I think we just went to bed, honestly. I think we were just so worn out from the day. Yeah, and then hashtag pot sucks. Yeah, she was so disappointed. But, tomorrow was a new day. And so we were looking forward to that. We had so much fun. Yeah. Okay, so then the next day, across the street toward the city side was this little restaurant here called Two Cracked Eggs. Super cute. It was like a faith-based, maybe the owners were faith-based, I think, from judging from what it had on their menu and stuff. And so this is our food, and that was yummy. Yeah, I didn't really write anything about that, but it was very yummy. And then after that, my daughter wanted to go to this place called Wormslow. It's a historical site. And so this is the, I of course have the brochure because you can't have a brochure and not put it in your book, right? So that goes in there. And then we had these pictures here. They have this beautiful row of many, many, many and very long road that we walked down of live oak trees canopied across the pathway. It's just beautiful. There's me living my best life, huh? There's the pathway. So gorgeous. This is in front of the savannah. There's the savannah there. And here's like the historical site. Yeah, we love going to things like that. Here's a little wristband that we got. And it was a beautiful time. Yes, it was beautiful. The day was gorgeous. We walked a ton. We walked for like 4 hours here and it was getting warm. It was getting sticky. But it was beautiful. It was really, really a lot of fun. We just took our time, and just strolled around and it was just fantastic. And so, yeah, we had a great breakfast, went to Wormslow, a lot of walking, wonderful weather, beautiful setting, great pictures. By the end, my feet were ready to fall off, but totally worth it. And we caught the trolley ride home. Thank goodness for that trolley. Let me tell you, I don't know if I would have made it all the way back to the main, place. And then when we got back to the hotel, we freshened up a bit, and then went down to the riverside and we went to the beer garden and we got a yummy, huge pretzel, like bigger than my head, with some beer cheese and some, alcoholic beverages. And yeah, sat there, people watched. It turned a little cloudy. It rained a little bit, but it was fine. And there was I guess people had just got married, this couple. And so they came to take pictures and stuff. Yeah, so we just sat there and watching people go by and watching the riverboat go by. And here you can see the riverboat in the background. And then after that, my daughter wanted to take me to go for a mead tasting. And mead is an alcoholic beverage. My gosh, seems like there's a lot of alcohol flowing on this trip. There really wasn't all that much. But anyway, mead tasting is an alcoholic beverage made with made with honey. So it's kind of like a cross between beer and wine. Maybe a sparkling wine? I don't know. It's sweet for the most part. So here was our little wine tasting class thing. And this is it right here. And then, yeah, I wrote about it here, and it's surprisingly good. So, because I'm not a huge fan of wine at all, but it was really good. It really was. I think this goes like this. Okay. And then that evening, that's later. Okay. That evening we went to, oh my gosh, this was phenomenal. Whoa, man. I'm sorry for shaking you guys. Every time I get up, I don't know. I'm just making sure you guys are all in frame, and then I touch the table. I'm sorry. So, chef's tasting. My daughter has done these before. I have never even heard of them. Okay, that's how cultured I am. Yeah, not very. Yeah, I've never even heard of this. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 5-course meal with dessert, right? And it was chef's kiss is what it was. It was so good. Oh my goodness. So the first thing we had were these beautiful potato puffs with caviar on the top and I believe goat cheese. Oh my gosh, they were so good. I could have eaten a dozen of them. They were so good. And then the next thing we had was grilled octopus, which I wouldn't probably not order on my own. However, it was tasty. It was tasty. I enjoyed it. That's it's not the first time I've had octopus, but yeah, it was delicious. It really was. It really was. And then the next thing we had what appears to be gnocchi, right? Potato gnocchi with a sauce on it. Oh my gosh, it was like melt in your mouth. It was so delicious. Then we had a piece of haddock with another sauce on it. And that was probably my favorite, the haddock. I love fish so much, but that was probably my favorite. It was so, so good. And then just when you think you can't eat anymore, they serve you the main dish, which is a steak with potatoes and cream spinach. And it was absolutely delicious. Yes, I was so full, I could have burst, but so worth it and so good and so wonderful to share that special, special experience, with my daughter. And then we did ask for dessert to go home because we were super tired. We had had a very long day, and of course it came, with the chef's tasting, the dessert did, but we weren't going to sit there because it was dark out. We still needed to walk, probably maybe 10 blocks back to the hotel. So yeah, so we just took it with us. We did cuddle up in bed once we got into the hotel, had our dessert, right? And just ate dessert in bed, watching a very cheesy movie. But before we did that, we went to this rooftop bar, which is still within our hotel line of, places to go in our hotel. It was a gorgeous night out. My daughter wanted to take some more pictures. And the hotel gave my daughter these like vouchers for a certain amount of money. And each day you could use one, right? So she's like, Mom, I've got to use it. I've got to use it. So we went up to the rooftop bar. We both got like a cider or something. We didn't even drink all of it because it ended up being free anyway. But anyway, so we did that. Then we cuddled up and watched a cheesy movie and had our yummy dessert. And then this was funny. Mystery solved. So we had come in later than the previous nights before. And the previous nights before, we had always had the do not disturb on, right? Well, this time we didn't even think about it. So we got back from the restaurant. It was later than what we had normally been coming home. And so we walked in and like, there's a light on the bed. One side of the bed's turned down. There's water next to my bed. The decorative pillow's missing. And, we're both like, what's happening? Who was in our room? Our towels were gone. I mean, just all these things that hadn't happened the previous nights before. Right. So then it finally dawned on me. I was like, babe, they have turned down service. They hadn't come in the previous nights because we had the do not disturb on. Right? Because we were in the room, And so this time, yeah, so it was a little bit unnerving. You know, we went in, we're like, what is happening here? So that was a funny little tidbit. Okay. And then this was the day that we left to go home. And my daughter surprised me with the best thing. She knew that in St. Augustine, Florida, there is a capybara cafe. I have loved capybaras for the longest time. And probably since the first time I saw them is when I took the kids to a zoo up here many years ago. And I just love them, right? I just love them. They're part of the Rodentia order, so largest rodent on the planet. They're just stinking cute. Oh my gosh. And so this was like the highlight of the trip, right? And I'd had no idea. I mean, nobody knew, but maybe her boyfriend knew, but nobody knew that she was taking me there. It was such a sweet surprise. And yeah, it was so much fun. We learned all about them and got to pet them and got to feed them. And it was super cool. If you're ever in St. Augustine, I would say it's a must thing if you like capybaras. This right here is from Brooke. Every Creations by Brooke. It says, "You may call me your majesty." And I put this here because I certainly felt like queen for the day. That is for sure. And then this talks about like little things I purchased. So I got these little Post-it notes. I got this sticker here. I got the charm that I have on my monthly moments part. And then funny story. Oh, this was about the whole thing with the capybara thing because my daughter, she didn't want me to know, where we were going. And so she obviously didn't tell me. So when we left Buc-ee's, we had got, gas facilities, whatever. We were headed home and I'm like, babe, we're not going south, we're going east. So what are you doing? And she just kept making excuses until finally she said, well, we might have to go into the Capybara Cafe and ask for directions. And I was like, what? No, we have a phone. Just put your address in. It'll, what are you doing? She's like, nah, I think maybe we should go in the Capybara Cafe and ask for directions. And I am insistent, folks. I mean, I'm insistent. I want to get home, And I'm like, no, we don't have to ask for directions. What is wrong with you? She comes this close to my face and tells me, Mom, I think we'll have to go into the Capybara Cafe and ask for directions. And then it finally hit me. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So it was such a sweet surprise. And then this talks about all the things my husband did. He is so dang sweet. He had gone to the grocery store. He even got like my favorite foods, right? He is so dang cute. Oh my gosh, I could eat him up. Got my favorite flowers, got got certain foods that he knows that I love. He came to pick me up at my daughter's house when we got home. And he had like washed everything up. He had vacuumed and mopped. He even washed the dog. He did everything like in preparation for me coming home. It was so sweet of him. So there's that. I think we are just going to go ahead and finish out this month. I thought that was going to take a little bit longer, but that's okay. Okay, so we had a fantastic time, if you couldn't tell. We had a great time. I cannot wait to plan something for next year already. Okay, so then on this day here, this was a Tuesday, and I was starting to film, for the trip and stuff that we had just been on. And we are, this talks about what we're watching. We're watching Daryl Dixon now. And my daughter-in-law was out and about and stopped by with the baby. And then my son came after work. Oh, okay. So by this time of the month, my daughter was no longer working. Yeah, she stopped working while I was on vacation. So it was no more baby daily. But they came over and my son came after work and he brought dinner for them. We have like right at the end of our street, we have a poutine place, like, Canadian poutine, and they love it. I love it too. But yeah, so they got some of that for dinner. I think I probably had leftovers. And yep, hashtag love my fam. They hung out for a bit. They left around 9. And then my daughter, she's still not feeling good. Yeah, she's still dealing with the whole like POTS thing. It really started back when a couple weeks prior to this, when I went to her house to help her clean. That's kind of when it started. So we're not really sure what's going on with it, but we're getting it checked out. Don't you worry. Anyway, yeah, she's really been struggling with her pots, and she had to leave early again. So, and then they talked about maybe working from home until she gets her doctor's appointments sorted and stuff like that. So, and this is, you know, for my daughter, prayers for my daughter. And then I made this beautiful thing for my November journal, this dangle charm. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. It's right here. I love it so much. I cannot wait to make one for December. It was so much fun to make. So made that. And then I went to my radiology oncologist on this morning and found out that I have a dodgy spot still on my brain. It's been here, you know, since the beginning of the year. And so we're just kind of watching it. He did put me on steroids, a special type of steroids for my brain in particular. And yeah, we're hoping that something shows up differently in a good way in the next MRI, which I'm going to have in a few weeks. So, or I might have already had it by the time you see this. I don't know. But yeah, so there it is. And, oh, and then this is about my daughter. Having a chronic illness is like looking both ways before you cross the street and then getting hit by an airplane. Yep. So she stayed home again from work. I hate this for her so much. I know exactly what she's going through. I mean, exactly. So, you know, there is some good news in that, but it's really difficult. It really is. Yeah. So, I think I made some appointments for her as well. Yeah. My brain thing, they're not sure if it's a lesion, necrosis, which is like dead tissue, or edema, which is swelling. So they don't know. So they put me on meds and we'll see how it goes. Let's see. Okay, started decorating. Oh, this is the day I started decorating the Savannah trip. And then here is this. So let's see. And then I love this here. The need to mother does not end when they turn 18, 28, or 58. Our children will always need to be mothered and rely on us to comfort them, listen to them, and love on them in the spectacular way only a mother can. Yes, amen. So I do believe my daughter went into work today, but then she came home early, I think. And she was like, Mom, can I just come over? I don't want to drive all the way home. And I said, yes, absolutely. Or let me think. No, let me read this. No, because I think she stayed home. I think that's what it was. Okay, so I got up and wrote and read. Yeah, I'm just, at this point in time, I'm getting super frustrated with the extreme pain that I'm in. This was prior to steroids. I had gotten off the original steroids and the pain is unbelievable. Yeah, anyway, so I'm dealing with that and I'm not liking it. It's worse in the morning and in the evening. And then I've had to like cut my riding short because of the pain, you know. And our poor girl isn't doing well either. We don't know if it's a POTS flare or what it is. So, okay. My husband went to go get her. Yeah, she had called and she was like, I don't feel good. And I said, okay, what do you want us to do? You know, I said, Daddy can come pick you up. And she said, okay. So he went and collected her. They brought home some Burger King, probably not the healthiest thing, but there you go. And then she came out and just hung out with us the rest of the day. You know, I mean, no one wants to be alone when you're not feeling good, you know, and especially if you're not like quite sure what's happening, you know, that's kind of scary. And so, you know, it's not like she was home with a cold, you know, then she'd be just tucked up in bed, you know, drinking soup or whatever. But yeah, when it's something that you're not quite sure what's going on, it is scary. So yeah, so anyway, so she came over. I had filmed a journal with me, video, and I received my bead toppers. Oh my goodness, yeah. And then I need to be careful because I was clipping the head pins in the living room. And then all of a sudden my daughter-in-law was like, ow. And I was like, what? She picked it up and it was a piece of it. Oh my gosh. The metal head pin. And I was like, where was that? She said it was right here on the couch. She was clear across the room. Okay. Clear across the couch, from me. So yeah, no more cutting head pins in the living room. Okay. Learn that the hard way. Hopefully though, I'll be getting like a special tool to do it and it won't fling them across. And then this is about my daughter. Yeah, and a little, prayer card for her. So goes in there, saw all the gems. And then filming. And then this is faith-based, she prays and still falls apart some days. Yeah, it happens. Is this what, okay, this just is glued in completely. Oh, and if I didn't tell you, these come from Rebecca Hoot. Her link will be below, sorry. Road in red. Poor Big Handsome's frustrated and discouraged by his increasing pain. We're just a big pain around here, okay? That's all I can say. So I worked on my journaling, filmed a video, and then watched, now we're on to Sons of Anarchy, and my husband went to Publix, and my girl, she completed a whole day of work at home. So there's a step forward, right? She wasn't going into the office, but she was able to work the entire, day from home. So we were so proud of her and glad she was able to do that. We did not babysit because my son was off. And yeah, I had fish for dinner. And then let's see here. I went to the pharmacy to get said prescriptions for my brain. Big Handsome's in high pay again. He's got to talk to his pain doctor to see what they're going to do about him. Anyway, got my steroids. And then my mother-in-law came over because we were going to have the baby. So she wanted to come over and see the baby. And yeah, so my husband made us a really yummy egg and pepper and tomato and mushroom scramble with sausage. Oh, it was delicious. Along with his homemade everything bread, which is my favorite. He needs to make some more. And yeah, and then, Mama, that's my husband's mother. Yeah, she just was able to hold the baby. The baby slept most of the time she was here, but we had a really great catch up and it was so nice to see her and just hang out. So that was really, really nice. And then here's another, prayer for my daughter. And then we were babysitting this day. Here's a picture of the babe. This is her little schedule here. Poor baby's been having some pretty tough days. I think stomach-wise, it happens. I mean, it happens with babies. So we were babysitting all day today because my son and his wife were heading down toward where they came from to visit with some friends, right? And so they were going to be gone all day long. And yeah, so we had baby and we did lots of things. We read books and we watched Mommy and Me TV and we had some tummy time and she was very talkative. Yeah. And it's such a joy to keep her. I don't think they left until like almost 10. Yeah. And then today is when I started my steroids. This is one of my favorite pages. Yeah. We were invited to go to my daughter's house and her boyfriend's house. A lot of times all four kids, we get together with all four kids, but sometimes it is very nice just to get together with one of the other groupings, right? And so my daughter's boyfriend made Japanese curry. It's like a stew that has a Japanese flair to it, the spices. It was very good. Spicy. I'm not a fan of curry. He knows this, but I'm willing to try anything. And it was very good. The meat was very tender. The vegetables were perfect. The gravy was perfect. Yeah, it was really good. I think probably if I had added if there had been coconut milk added or sour cream added to kind of tamp down the curry flavor, then I would have absolutely loved it, but it was very delicious. It really was. He's a great, great cook. So that was super nice that he made that for us. And he also made a yummy key lime pie. And funny story with that, it was the first time my daughter had ever had it, right? They've been together for a couple years, and she's never had his key lime pie. He always gets the ingredients and makes it and then takes it to work. So yeah. So this was the first time. Anyway, here's a little meme about prayer for my grandchildren. Here's one that I sent to my daughter. Every daughter needs to be reminded sometimes you are strong, you are smart, you are beautiful inside and out. You are kind, you are capable, and you're deeply loved more than you'll ever know. Yeah, Big Hans was in high pain. He still managed to wash the bed sheets, vacuum and mop the house. Yeah, hashtag he is amazing. I chatted on the phone with my aunt, filled my ramble, because that is like my strict routine every Sunday morning. Invited my daughter and her boy. Oh no. What? We were invited to their house for dinner. Yeah, just the four of us. Yeah. And it was delicious. And then I had a BP machine. She needed to start checking her blood pressure. And so, yeah, I got the machine from anyway, it doesn't matter. I gave it to her, to my daughter. So yeah, it was a little low, but nothing major. So this I did not do. This is the two, I think, yeah, there was a page back here that I didn't finish, and this is the second one I didn't finish, which is really a shame because on this day, my granddaughter turned 4 months old, but I really don't think I'm going to go back and finish it. So there's that. This day is about chronic illness pain. This is what my husband uses at times. It's, just a quick fix. Poor people in Jamaica were getting slammed by Hurricane Melissa. Horrible. This is about getting to spend time with your adult son, whether it's a meal together, a phone call, or just a hug. Feels like visiting with the most precious, happiest, most amazing part of your life. Yes. A little gem sticker because we went up to my son's house while they carved pumpkins. We watched the baby while they were busy doing that. They had their house decked out with a whole bunch of Halloween stuff. It was really cool. Yeah. So regular stuff. Let me see. Okay, I woke at 4:30 this morning feeling better than I have in a very long time. If you remember, I just started taking the steroids a couple days prior. And the pain is really reduced in my joint and muscles. So since starting the steroids, it's crazy. Started my October journaling. Yay. Yeah, because I had decorated pretty much this whole book and had done hardly any journaling at all. So, and then let me see. Oh, we went to an eye doctor. Yeah, it was a super long appointment, let me tell you, but everything went fine. Yep, I'm going to get new glasses that actually help me to see, so that'll be nice. He was very conscious of my metastatic history, so that was nice. Went to Publix on the way home. This time we went to, this night, my sweet daughter-in-law, she made Mexican meatball soup. Oh my gosh, so good. So good. So that was nice. And then we got some extra cuddles from our baby girl. Oh, and she had shots the day before, so she wasn't a happy camper. But, she was doing a little bit better, just super tired and kind of kind of not into anything. And then here, this one says, for my daughter, no matter how much I say I love you, I always love you more than that. And then here's one for my boy. And then this is a snack I like. And then, we went back up to my sons and daughter-in-law the very next night. Boy, oh boy, we see a lot of them, huh? I feel so blessed, though. And my daughter-in-law made spaghetti verde. Oh my goodness. It is so good. It's a Mexican dish that, it's like, it's like the Mexican version of the Italian chicken parmesan, right? Only it's Mexican version. Like you make it with poblano peppers and jalapenos and Mexican cheese and crema. And oh my gosh, it is so delicious. Holy cow, it was delicious. I'm trying to make an appointment for my rheumatologist. Remember, the beginning of the month, my oncologist said you need to see a rheumatologist. I've been literally trying for a month, over a month, to make an appointment. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a little tad bit frustrated. Yeah. Anyway, let me see. Oh, my husband went ahead and made up a family dinner. He does that sometimes. It was a chicken with broth and tomatoes and artichokes, and he makes it all up, and then he might freeze it depending on when we're going to eat it. But he just gets like this, wild hair, and he's like, oh, I think I'll make this. So he makes it, and then we'll just have it ready to put the finishing touches on whenever we all can get together for dinner. So yeah, he does that quite a lot. It makes life easy. I will tell you that. Worked in my book, filling out journaling. Filmed more journal with me's about the Savannah trip. My mother and father-in-law came over to drop off some potatoes. My husband makes really yummy mashed potatoes, and so our grandnephew loves them. And so when they have their church potluck every first Sunday of the month, he requests Bubba's mashed potatoes. So my husband graciously makes him mashed potatoes for church. So my husband was doing that. My lower back is throbbing. I don't know what's happening with that. And then we went over to my son's and had a lovely dinner together, and it was very nice. And then this is this the last date? No, almost. Okay, here's a picture of our sweet girl. So we were babysitting today. She was watching Veggie Tales. I remember my kids watching Veggie Tales. So much fun. Here's her little schedule-ish. And yeah, so we had a lot of fun. Of course, we watched Veggie Tales. We had some tummy time. We read. We had a bath. And yeah, babbling combos too. She's such a happy baby and a precious joy. Yeah. And then, let's see. This goes here. Okay, so here's my tracking. Is this glued? Yeah, this is just glued right on the page. Okay, so I guess we were babysitting today because the kids had to run some errands. My daughter had to go to the doctor. My daughter-in-law had to go to the doctor, and they were running errands and stuff. So, oh yeah, and then they were going to go out to dinner with some workmates later that evening. So we just kept her, most of the day. Well, starting in the afternoon till the evening. Yeah. Yeah, so that was nice. And then this is Halloween. This is my son's house at night. House during the day. They decked it all out. It looked fantastic. Yeah, they had a great time there. Their neighborhood goes crazy for Halloween. Yeah, it's just very busy. A lot of people go from all around. It starts at like 4:30 in the afternoon with food trucks and a golf cart parade and all this stuff. And then it goes like past midnight. I mean, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I don't think I would like it. We don't celebrate Halloween, but, yeah, it is what it is. They had a lot of fun though. So that's all that matters. And then we had no baby today. We had a day off from the baby. They were getting ready for their Halloween stuff. We ended up getting like 3 groups. That's it. I don't even think we're going to do it next year. I really don't think we're going to bother. Because our neighborhood's super small and nobody comes. Last year we had one little boy, and then this year we had 3 little groups. One of them, Remy, got out and was jumping all over him, barking and whatever. Thank goodness the kids didn't freak out. I was irritated, but they got their candy and went on their way. And then the second group, this poor little princess, she was probably 3, I think, tripped on the front step and nearly face planted at my feet, the poor child. So I helped her, get up and get her candy and all that. And then the third group was a group of teenagers, 4 teenagers. So yeah, we were done by like 7:45. So anyway, yeah, it was low key here, which is fine by me. And then here's one about mother-daughter time, because I just love my kids so much. And then that's the end of the book, folks. And I just love it. I really do. I love just using so many different things in a book, and all the memories that, you know, that are written out and journaled about and decorated about. And I just love it. I just love it. So I hope you enjoyed that little flip through of the rest of October. And I hope it gave you some ideas on things, materials, or whatever that you can use. Oh, this is a long one. That you can use, you know, to decorate and zhuzh up your pages. You know, lots of things to use out there. Yeah, so I really appreciate that you choose to spend your time with me. I know how precious time is. Yes, I do. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a wonderful week. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell and hit a like if you want, or a hype, or whatever you want. Yeah, come back and see more videos real soon. I will talk to y'all real soon. Bye for now.